it's sort of taken from the outright markets where realistically Spurs won't be winning the league, but perhaps they're more solid than those other teams around the 6th, 7th in the betting. And one of those teams, Mark, is Brighton, who I always remember the Manchester United semi-final. They were at neutral venue going off favourites against Manchester United. It just shows that the market didn't treat Brighton season as a fluke. They've signed pretty shrewdly again in the summer, and you really fancy them for a top 6 this year.
Yeah, it's just a price play at 3.3 now. I put it in at 3.15. I just looked at Matchbook, it's 3.3. And you're right, for the first point there, it wasn't that long ago, April time, we're talking now at the start of August, that they were favourites against Manchester United at Wembley. So it's almost like the outright markets have totally forgotten everything that happened last season and pricing Brighton up again sort of with a blank canvas. And I think that's unfair, to be honest. I know some people are expecting regression, and that's fair enough, with McAllister gone, European football on the agenda, and Caicedo possibly leaving as well. But I'm pretty damn sure Brighton won't sell Caicedo for less than 100 million. So unless anyone sort of bulks up an extra 20 million, he's going to be staying. And effectively, then you're looking at a very similar best 11 as we had last season, bar McAllister. I think Dahoud and Milner come in to add a bit of depth to midfield. I like Dahoud as well. João Pedro strengthens that attacking options. They've got a goalkeeper they picked up from Belgium who's apparently the real deal. I've not seen him, but he comes with a very good reputation. And as we always say with Brighton, they're such a smart club that you'd always back them to make positives in the transfer market, regardless of who they're bringing in, regardless of where they're from or what you know about them. So they obviously have the finances to do more business if they so wish. And yeah, just look at last season. They are ranked as the 5th best team in the Premier League according to the underlying data metrics. You look at the squad and the profile of some of those players who burst on the scene or kind of came to the English game and made a massive impact straight away. Evan Ferguson, Mitoma, and Enciso, Stupinian. These guys are all a year older, going to possibly improve year on year, get better. I think Brighton will be there or thereabouts in the top half. I think they're more than good enough to challenge the top 6 yet again. I just think in terms of a price, considering the prices they were going off at just a couple of months ago in Premier League matches, how they're being dismissed now as sort of 3.3 in the top 6 market, just doesn't ring true to me. So quite happy to be on their bus again. I'd be very surprised if they suffered a major drop-off. The obvious challenges here for Brighton will be Tottenham, but also Aston Villa, who signed very smartly during the summer, some big names, Pau Torres, Yuri Tielemans, Moussa Diaby, chuck in a returning Diego Carlos. They will be strong, but they did overperform and overachieve according to what they did on the field last season under Unai Emery. He's very much a marginal head coach, and they're back in Europe now as well, where he has got a fantastic record. And if you do look at his league campaign throughout his career, he's very much a cup specialist. Almost last season was kind of went against the norm with Unai Emery, enjoyed some fantastic league success, but then Villa weren't involved in cup competitions to allow that. So, I expect Aston Villa to keep on progressing and keep on pushing forward, but I think it would be dangerous to just assume that they're going to continue on that upward trajectory and get, what we saw last season, because as I said, they did sort of get the best of some very tight games, and it doesn't take a huge amount for things to sort of swing in the opposite direction, whereas Brighton were utterly dominant in almost all their matches, bar against the absolute elite team. So yeah, quite happy to be with Brighton.
When you look at the prices, Daniel, of Brighton and Spurs and compare them with Chelsea and Newcastle for top 6, it's remarkable. I mean, Chelsea and Newcastle are in the 1.5 region, both of them, for top 6. And I don't think they're going to be hugely different. I just don't. I think those 4 teams are in the mix. I think there won't be a lot between them over the course of the season ahead. So yeah, I guess that's why myself and Mark have gone down this route, just a little bit more value in these 2 clubs.
Yeah, and before we move on, Adrian, very briefly on Villa, they've signed quite well. Pau Torres, Diaby, Tielemans, with a brilliant manager there, as we know from the Arsenal days. They will be factors as well. Do you kind of take Mark's point with the European competition that Unai Emery will almost be tempted too much with Europe, that it might take away from their league results?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, because you can envisage them going into the latter stages of the European competition, and will that affect their league form? But yeah, no, the recruitment's been excellent. They're really ambitious, and they were very hard to beat and hard to score against towards the end of the season. I think after Arsenal beat them 4-2, it was clean sheets or 1 conceded in pretty much every game. So they're solid. And I watched them as well in the summer series 2 or 3 times over the summer, and they look good. It's just my only worry really is that the depth up top. I think Ollie Watkins needs someone else, to compete with him or to be his understudy, because so much rests on his shoulders. If he was to get injured, I don't know if they have the firepower necessary to get into the top 6. But Villa are on an upward trajectory, no doubt about it.
Yeah, very exciting time for plenty of those teams. But the official picks for the top 6 and the second bets each for Mark and Adrian. Mark's locking in Brighton at 3.3 for top 6 finish, and Adrian going for Tottenham Hotspur at 2.3.